G architecture, and in this architecture, this is the, if you look in the red box, this is the Xilinx chip. It consists of many components. It consists of 3 blocks. One is called as CLB, configurable logic blocks. One is IO block, that is shown here as IOB block, and now we have some programmable interconnect. Programmable interconnect can be used to connect multiple CLBs. It can also be used to connect the input pins to the CLB, and it also can be used to connect the chip, the CLB output to the chip pins. And then there is also an IO block, and we will study all of these blocks in more and more detail. So if you look at here, now we will study the configurable logic block. The configurable logic block. It is shown in this slide. So this is a configurable logic block. Xilinx XC4000E CLB configurable logic block. If you look at this configurable logic block, it consists of 3 lookup tables. It consists of 3 lookup tables. One lookup table is the G function generator. Can you see the G function generator? Then F function generator in the H function generator. And there are some multiplexers. Here are some multiplexers. Can you see these multiplexers? So these are the multiplexers, and these are also some multiplexers here. There are 2 flip-flops. Can you see the flip-flops? So if you look at this whole block, what are the inputs to this CLB? The input to this CLB is F1 to F4, G1 to G4, C1 to C4, and the output are Y, YQ, X and XQ. YQ is the sequential output, and Y is the combination output. Similarly, XQ is the sequential output and combination output. Okay. And there is also one clock. There is also one input, that is the clock. Now we will study that what is a lookup table. So this G is a lookup table. G block. Can you see the G block? Yes. It's a lookup table. F is a lookup table, and H is a lookup table. Okay. So G is a 4 input lookup table. What are the inputs to G? G1, G2, G3, G4. The other lookup table is F. How many inputs? 4 input. And what about H? Is a 3 input. Now we will study the lookup table. What is a lookup table? So lookup table, any lookup table. Now we will study a very simple lookup table. So let's assume we have a lookup table with 2 inputs and 1 output. What are the inputs to this lookup table? A and B. What is the output of the lookup table? C. So this lookup table, any lookup table has n inputs and 1 output. A lookup table has n inputs and 1 output. And how many storage locations are in the lookup table? 2 is for n storage location. If you look at this lookup table, there are 2 inputs. So how many storage location? 4 locations. Each location will have an address. Each location has an address. The first address is 00. Can you see this? This is the first address. 00, 01, 10 and 11. So let's assume if we have a 3 input lookup table, how many locations will be there? 8. If we have a 4 input lookup table, 16 locations will be there. Okay? And with this lookup table, we can implement any combinational function. We can implement any combinational function of how many inputs? Of n inputs. If the input is n. So with the lookup table, we can implement any combination input of n inputs. With this lookup table, we can implement any combination function of 2 inputs. So let's assume if we want to implement an AND gate, what variable is stored in the lookup table? 0, 0, 0, and 1. So now let's assume this is an AND gate. This is an AND gate. So if you want to implement an AND gate, the input is AB. The output will be C. When the input is 0, 0, Which location will be accessed? This location will be accessed and this value will be accessed. With the value is 1, 1, which location will be accessed? The last location will be accessed. The last location will be accessed. Similarly, if we want to implement an OR gate, so what values we need to store in the lookup table? 0, 1, 1, 1. In this way, within the using the same lookup table, at one time, it is implementing an AND gate in the bound, and maybe at another time instant, it is implementing an OR gate. So if you want to implement a different function, so what we need to do? Just store the values in the lookup table. This is just like a simple lookup table. Now let's assume I will give you another example. Let's assume we have a 4-input LUT. How many LUT? 4-input LUT. So let's assume the inputs are A, B, C and D, and let's assume the output is F. How many locations will be there? 16 locations. So there will be 16 locations. So there will be 16 location in this lookup table. So there will be 16 location. So this will be 0, 0, 0, 0. Am I right? Okay. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, double 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, double 1. So all of them are zeros. And then 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, double 1, 1, double 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 1. So now let's assume we have this big lookup table and all of these are 1. Okay. How many inputs are there? No inputs. 4 inputs, A, B, C, and D. Let's assume we want to implement any function. We want to implement a function. And let's assume that the function is this function. F is equal to A and B or C and D. Let's assume this is the function. So the output F will be 1. Output F will be 1 when A is 1 and B is 1. A is 1 and B is 1. So output F will be 1 when A is 1 and B is 1. So actually when A is 1, output F will be 1. Am I right? Yes. And output F will be 1 when C is 1 and D is 1. C is 1 and D is 1. And then any other combination? No. Okay. So, and all of the remaining entries will be zeros. So this is just like implementing a lookup table. A lookup table, just like in digital logic design. You have to calculate the output set what will be the output and just you store these values. So in this case, using this lookup table, a LUT, you can implement any combination. Any combination. Let's assume if F is equal to, let's assume if F is equal to A, B bar, C or C, D bar. So actually you can see that the output will be 1 when A is 1, B is 0 and C is 1. And we can ignore D. We can ignore D. And in the second case, when C is 0 and D is 1. And you can fill up all the entries with 1 and the remaining entries are 0. Okay, so you can implement any function. So if you look at this function F, so actually this function F is a function of A, B, C, and so in principally, if we have a lookup table of n inputs, we can implement any combination function of a maximum of n inputs. We can also implement a combination function of n minus 1 inputs or n minus 2 inputs. Now let's assume with the same lookup table, let's assume if you want to implement is equal to what? F is equal to A, B, C. So this function is a function of 3 inputs or 4 inputs? 3 inputs, but we can implement this. We can just ignore the value of B. So in this case, which values will be 1? ABC is 1. Okay, now if you want to implement this function, so it also depends on how you are mapping the inputs. How you are mapping the input. I will give this an example. We will have a small lookup table. Let's assume we have a small lookup table of 3 inputs. Just for the elaboration. 3 input. The inputs are A, B, and C, and the output is E. How many entries will be there? How many locations? 8. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 1. How many locations will be there? 8 locations. Okay, now let's assume if we map A here. Okay, now let's assume we want to implement J is equal to Km. J is equal to Km. So actually it is an AND gate. Am I right or not? What will be the output? J. What are the inputs? K and M. Okay. Now if we map K here, if we map K at the first input and M at the second inputs, K and M. So actually, if you look at this J is a function of how many inputs? 2 inputs. And the LUT available is 3 input. So actually, the output will be 1. The output J will be 1 when K is 1 and M is 1. So actually, यहाँ पे 1 and 1. Am I right? And all the remaining entries will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Am I right or not? So now in this case, we are implementing. We have implemented a function of less than 3 inputs. Now there is also another way. If we have the same lookup table, so the inputs are, let's assume 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 1. If we map, instead of in the first 2 inputs, if we map K here and M here, so the contents of the lookup table will be same or different? Different. So if you look at here, so when output will be 1? 1 यहाँ पे होगा, वहाँ पे होगा. So actually, in this case, the first input is ignored. So in this case, when we have a considered when K is equal to 1, both are 1 here, and all the remaining entries will be 0. So actually, what we will store here? So actually, the value they will store is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and जी
सर ये जो घड़ी एंट्री वाला मैप है इसके अंदर तो 2 दफा 1 आया अगर इसकी बजाय हम 2 वाला यूज करते तो उसमें 1 दफा आता है.
No, yes, let's assume that now in FPGA the resources are fixed. You cannot change it. They are prefabricated. When only the LUT available is a 3 input LUT. If you want to fabricate it, you can directly fabricate it and send it to the foundry. And how much time it will take to fabricate the chip? In FPGA, we assume that the resources are already available and fixed. Now let's assume that you have a car and car have 4 seats and 2 people are traveling. That's the point. It means the 2 seats will be wasted. Actually, that's the FPGA. The FPGA is prefabricated, and then you have available resources and you want to implement a function. Okay? Any question? Okay. So now we have studied. Now in this class we have studied that how we can implement any combinational function of M input. So let's assume we have a lookup table of n input. So we can implement any combination function of n inputs or less than n inputs. But we cannot implement a combination function of more than n inputs. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So now, having said that, okay, now if you look at this G function generator, so this G function generator can implement a combination function of 4 inputs and 4 inputs, and this H function can implement any combination function of 3 inputs. Okay, now let's assume if we want to implement any adder, how can we implement that adder? So how we can implement an adder using this? This CLB. Okay. How can you implement an adder using 2-bit adder using one CLB? Can anybody let me know? G. How we can implement an adder? Yes, adder. Okay. If you look at this lookup tables, can you see the lookup tables here in slide 2-1? There are 2 lookup tables. Okay. And if you want to implement an adder, okay, now let's assume if you want to implement an adder. And if you want to implement a 1-bit adder, what will be the input to the 1-bit adder? A, B, and C in. And what will be the output? Sum and C out. If you look at the adder, so sum is a function of 3 input and C out is a function of 3 input. So can we write it like this? That sum is a function of what? A, B, and C in, and then C out is a function of what? Similarly, C out is also a function of A, B, and C in. And if you look at the lookup table, we have 2 lookup tables. One is the F function generator and another is a G function generator. One was a F function generator and another was a G function generator. How many locations they have? 16 locations. 16 locations. So actually now can we divide this lookup table? So there was a lookup table with 16 locations. How many locations were there in the lookup table? 16 locations. Can we divide this 16 location into 8 locations? Okay. So actually, if we divide this into 8 locations and 8 locations. And if you look at the address bits, so the address bits can we see it like this, that the address bit will range from 0, 0, 0, 0 till what? 0, 1, 1, 1, and then 1, 0, 0, 0 up till 1, 1, 1, 1. Now if you look at this lookup table, so actually can we map here? Can we map it like this? So this is A, this is B, and this is C in, and now we have an MSB. So this can be used. This can be used to implement sum of the adder, and this can be used to implement Cout. Okay. Okay. So this can be used to implement. The first one can be used to implement sum, and the second one can be used to implement Cout. So in this way, we can divide the lookup tables. Can you see the lookup tables here? Here, this G function, and now we have an F function. So this G function can be used to implement a 1-bit adder, and this S function can be used to implement a 1-bit adder. And within this lookup table, the 8 locations are dedicated for the sum. The remaining 8 locations are used to implement Cout. In this way, we can implement a 2-bit adder with 1 CLB. We can implement a 2-bit adder with 1 CLB. How we can do it like this? So I will show this with an example. Now let's assume we have this G beta. 1-bit adder. 1-bit adder. What is 1-bit adder? Input is 3 bits. The output is 2 bits. What are the input? A, B, C in. Another is sum and Cout. I will explain this. You can see it on in these lectures. Can you see the table here? So actually it is a 2-bit adder. And how many CLB we have? 1 CLB. 1 CLB. And it can we see on the left hand side? So this is A1 and A0, B1 and B0. How many outputs are we have? Carry and sum. Okay, so actually this A1, A0 and B1 and B0. So can we show it like this? So we have A1 and A0 and B1 and B0, and output is sum 1, because the sum will be 2 bits, and then sum 0, because we have 2-bit sum, and then we have Cout. Then we have Cout. How we can implement this with a CLB? I will give this with an example. किस पे? Yes, scene will be coming from above. Scene will be coming from above. How we can implement this within this structure? Okay. So now we have A1, A0, B1 and B0 will be mapped here. Similarly, A1, A0, B1 and B0. This will be used to implement sum 0 and sum 1 and sum 0. This sum 1, and actually we can use it from here. We can come it here. Let's assume we want to implement a combination adder. So this output will come from this multiplexer and through here. Similarly, the other output. So this is sum 0. We can mux from here, and then it will go to here and here. Okay, now if we have this sum 1 and sum 0, so actually now we want to have a carry output. So actually we have a carry in from above, carry in from here, carry in from the from above. Then this we also have a H function generator. H function generator. So some 0 will come up here, and some 1 will come up here. Now we have a carry out, and this carry out will go to the next CLB. समझ आई बेटा या नहीं आई? So how we can implement it? I will explain this with an example. With how will it look like? Now you have a G function generator and H function generator. And for this G function and H function, you have A1, A0, B1 and B0. Similarly for H function, H1, A1, A0. Sorry, this is F function, not H. B1 and B0. What will implement? What this G function will implement? Sum 1. And what will this F function implement? Sum 0. Okay. This G function will go to the H function generator. And with this H function generator, something is coming from above. What is that? C in. And what will be its output? C out. And C out will go to another CLB. And now from this sum, this will go directly to the output sum 1, and this will go, and then sum 0. So actually if you look at the H function generator, how many inputs are clear to the H function generator? 3 inputs. To the H function generator there are 3 inputs. One is sum 1, another is sum 0, another is C in. So actually we can implement a 2-bit adder. We can implement a 2-bit adder with 1 CLB. If you want to implement an 8-bit adder, how many CLB required? 4 CLB. If you want to implement a 16-bit adder, 8 CLB. 16-bit G.
Someone or some 0 can be seen required.
Okay?
Someone or some 0.
When you will calculate it, so actually they will implement it. So there is internally logic. आपकी बात सही है. There is some internal logic with the Xilinx architecture how they implement it.
जब हम सम 0 डिफाइन कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए हमें इनपुट तो चाहिए, साथ में चीज भी चाहिए होगा. वो बाद में इंप्लीमेंट हो रहा है और वो सिर्फ सी आउट पे इफेक्ट के डाल रहा है. सम 0 सम 1 एज इट इज आ रहा है.
Actually, you have to look at the in the details of the data sheet. ये आपको मैं जनरल आइडिया दे रहा हूँ, लेकिन आपने डेटा शीट में देखेंगे, डेटा शीट में सारी अवेलेबल होगी. आप उसको डिटेल में पढ़ लीजिएगा तो उसको आपको अंदाजा हो जाएगा कि वो किस तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट होगा. ठीक है? So actually, if you look at this, let's assume if you want to implement an 8-bit adder, if you want to implement a 8-bit adder, so actually, so the first CLB, what will be the input to the first CLB? A1, A0, B1 and B0. And what about the next CLB? A2, A3, B2 and B3. Similarly. And then we have how we can implement it using this the architecture. So now we have some chip inputs. Okay. So these are chip pins. Am I right or not? Chip pins. For this chip pins, it will go to the programmable switch matrix. PSM. From the PSM, the output will go to the CLB. CLB will implement the function and the output will go to the or PSM or the output block, and then it will go to the output pins. So now this is the whole architecture how you can implement any function. How you can implement any function using this CLP. Interconnect we have. So what is this PSM? PSM programmable switch matrix. Programmable switch matrix. Okay. Now, can you see this Xilinx CLB? Can you see this CLB? So there is a multiplexer here. Can you see the multiplexer here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many inputs are there to the multiplexer?
4.
4 inputs. So actually, how many select lines will be there? 2 select lines will be there. Okay. So slide. Okay. So actually, now these are multiplexers. On these multiplexers, there will be some select lines. And on these select lines, there will be some storage cells. So on these select lines, there will be some storage cells. So we can store either 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, or 1, 1. If it's 0, 0, which signal will pass on the output? What is first one? It is D in H2. So actually, if you want to pass this D into the output, so it will come from here and then it will go here. Similarly, we have F. If you want that this output YQ, Y or YQ is attached, this output YQ is attached with the signal F. Which value should we store? So if let's assume if you want to pass this D in, so which value should we store? 0, 0. If we want to pass this F function generator, the output of this first F function generator. So actually, if we have this F function generator, now we have F function generator, and F function generator and the output will go. Which value should we store here now? 0, 1. And similarly, if we want to pass G function, then 1, 0 or 1, 1. So actually, there are some routing resources, and based on the select line of the multiplexer, we will decide that which signal will go on to the output Q. So actually, now this is a multiplexer. Now, if you look at here, no, this can be this. It actually, we are now considering only the output of the multiplexer. The output of the multiplexer. Now here there is another flip flop. So let's assume if this flip flop is storing a logical 0, so it will be combination or sequential? Combination, and it's 1 sequential. Okay, so these are multiplexer. So this multiplexer, can you see this multiplexer? Yes. This multiplexer will decide whether the output will be sequential or combination. Similarly, this multiplexer will decide that the output will be combination or sequential. And now this X is combination. Actually, if you look at this X, what will be this output X? X will be assigned either a value of F or H, and it will be based on the select line of this multiplexer. And if you look at this Y, can you see this Y? This Y can be assigned a value of F or H. Okay, now this YQ, which value can be assigned to YQ? D in F, G, and H. Similarly, the same is true for X. The same is true for X. So there are various possibilities. We can connect the output of this G function generator. The output of the G function generator can go on XQ or YQ. Similarly, if you look at here, this X can be assigned the value of F or H. Similarly, y can be assigned a value of, I think so, G, it can be G or H. You can see the detail because there are some complex signals. Yes, okay, it can be G or H. Yes, you're right. It can be G or H. So these are various routing possibilities. And all of these will depend upon the select line of multiplexer. How many multiplexers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are a lot of multiplexers. 10 and 11. There are a lot of multiplexers. Okay. Now, now if you look at here, can you see here in this red color? We are using a flip-flop. I will now revert back to the slide, which is slide 2. So now we have a flip-flop here. In a flip-flop here, there is a clock, and then this is EC. RD stand for reset. SD stand for set. So there is also set and reset control. How you can control a set and reset? Through C3 and C4. Through C3 and C4 you can control the set and reset. C3 is coming from here, from above, and there is set and control here.
C3 only.
Okay, C3. There can be only C3. And also C4 is also maybe. Okay. C3. Okay. There is C3. You can control it from C3. Now, if you look at here, so now the input to this flip-flop 1, the first flip-flop, the in can go. From where the in is coming?
C2.
It is coming from C2. Similarly, F, the output of the F function generator, G, the output of the G function generator, H, the output of the F function generator. So this D can go, and now this is the output of the flip-flop. If you look at the clock, there is rising edge or the falling edge. So there is an inverter and on the multiplexer. So let's assume if we store 0 in this multiplexer, then it will implement a rising edge clock. And if you store a logical 1, falling edge of flip-flop. So if you are using always at positive of clock, so it will implement a rising edge. Or always at negative of the clock, it will implement a multiple. Okay, now if you look at here, there is also an enable signal. Now, if we have the code on the left hand side, FF1 is equal to D in. Are we using enable signal on the left hand side code? In this code, are you using any enable? No. We are not using any enable. So the enable will always be 1. So in this case, it's 1. So let's assume this is logical 0 and logical 1. If we store a logical 0, flip-flop will always be flip-flop will always be enabled. We don't need a separate enable signal. So now let's assume if we are implementing this always at positive clock, if IN1 and IN2. Now enable itself is a function of IN1 and IN2. So enable depends on the signal IN1 and IN2. So actually there will be some LUT. There will be some LUT to implement IN1 and IN2. So actually if you look at here, so there will be some LUT. We need a LUT. Okay, and this LUT, the input to this LUT will be IN1 and IN2, and the output of this will be EC, and EC will be connected to this. Lookup table, and actually in the Xilinx architecture we have some 4 input lookup tables and 3 input lookup tables. So you can use any of these lookup tables to implement this enable control. So there are a lot of possibilities. So maybe in the exam I will give you a function I will give you a function. I will give you the slides.
Slide.
These slides, that is complete architecture. You don't need to remember. And then based on this code, implement this function on this slide. And I will implement now one function here now.
सर ये तो enable वाली बात दोबारा बोल रहे हैं, आपने कहा था कि हम 1 ही स्टोर करवाएंगे, वहां पे तो कोई जरूरत नहीं।
Now, if you look at this code, flip flop will always be enabled. So each will be 1. Flip flop will always track input. It will always track input. And in the second case, the flip flop will be enabled and it depends on the signal IN1 and IN2. So in the left hand case, EC will be 1. EC is 1. This one is 1, always enabled. And on the select line of the multiplication, it will be 0 stored. The flip flop is always enabled. And in the second case, IN1 and IN2, it depends on the signal I1 and IN2. It will go to the lookup table, and the output of this lookup table will be, let's assume, J, and J will be connected to this EC. And actually, within this EC, there will also be some program, some interconnect, PSMs, and something like that. So there will be a complete. Okay. Okay. So now let's go through some code. Let's go through some code. Okay. Let's go through some code and then okay. Let's assume we are writing a Verilog code. Always like assign. This is a continuous modeling. Assign k is equal to j and h and m or n bar and m bar. Can you see the code? जी नजर आया आपको बेटा? Okay, I can. ठीक है बेटा? Okay, now if you look at this code, so it means, okay, now we have another. Assign L is equal to and J and H bar. Okay, there are two functions. Yeah, one is K and another is L. If you look at K, okay, so it means if you look at K, so K, what is K? K is a function of what? J, H, M and N. And what about L? Function of J and H. It's a combination function or sequential function? Combination function. So actually, can we do it like this? So actually, J is here, H is here, M here, N is here, and now we populate the lookup table accordingly. Whatever the very logical 1 or logical 0. So this lookup table will have 16 locations, and we can populate the lookup table based on the values. So actually, this G, it's a combination function. So it will go here. We want to go to the output. ठीक है, output पे कहाँ पे करेंगे आप पे K हाँ यहाँ से F है ना जी
वाली जगह पे G है यहाँ।
जी हाँ ये G है ठीक है ये G है तो यहाँ से आपने इम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया। अब y पे क्या कनेक्ट होगा? Similarly, with the down, the first function is j and h. These two will be ignored. Okay, so now it will come from here. L. Okay, so now in this way we have implemented two combination functions. We have implemented two combination function, and it's very simple. Please go through this slide and go at home, and then you'll see how you can implement it. Okay, now let's assume we want to implement some sequential function. We want to implement some sequential function. Okay, so now always add neg edge of clock. Always at neg edge of clock. Begin and end. If j out equal to 0, else if k out is equal to a and b and c, and I implement a very small function of 4 inputs. Small function of four inputs. Okay. Okay, now if you look at here, we have used a reset or set. Reset. Output is initialized to 0. So we have used a reset. So now we will have a reset. Which signal are we using for the reset? J. We are using J for the reset. So how we can do this? So now we have this J and then C3. J will be coming from here. Okay, and then it will be go to the RD, reset control. Am I right or not? Yes, sir. Okay, because now actually if this is for this one, G. The second one, else if K. Now the flip flop is enabled by the signal K. So somehow we need to route this K from here. K. So let's assume I'm drawing it in blue. So actually we can have K will be here. K will, and it will be coming from C4, and it will go here. Am I right? Because we are enabling it. If you are not using this enable, we don't need, because now we can use a one. Let's say the second else is not here. If it's only it. Now if you look at here, A, B, and C and D. If you look at this A, B, C, and D, so actually this is a combination function. This is a combination function, and this combination function can be implemented using G or H, whatever. So actually we can implement this with A, B, C, and D. And if you look at this lookup table, so this will have 16 locations. So 16 locations. So actually this location will be 16, and it will be 1, 1, 1, and 1, and the last will be 1. All the rest values from 0, 0, 0. All these values will be 0. And this output is out, actually out. Okay. So here we can go to this value. Now this is G. This will go from this G function to D, and because it is a sequential function, so the output will be here, and actually, so this Q will, am I right? So in this case, you can now you have implemented a sequential function. You have implemented a sequential function.